video we're going to talk about Martini Henry rifles. Okay, now these were popular back when IMA brought in that cache of guns years ago. Now it's been a long time. That's when a lot of these came out in the market. This rifle here, this is a Mark II, and this one was I got from Atlantic Cutlery, which was in partners with IMA. And this was one of the untouched rifles you got, and it wasn't too bad until I decided to go out and shoot it, and we'll take a closer look at it. And I'll tell you the discrepancies. But one thing that a lot of people said, when you bought these untouched guns, they all said they were worth it, and they ranged anywhere at one time. They were about $400 or $500 for them. And they were sold. There's a lot of people that bought them. And when you bought them untouched, they told you, and I'll point out that there may be small parts missing, cracks in the stock, and we'll take a closer look. There's issues with the stock here and that. The forestock, and I did some basic repairs to it. I tore this gun down, took it all apart, and I believe I made a video showing me cleaning all the parts before and after, and this was quite a while ago, and I never posted it because I intended to go out, shoot the gun, create a series, and over the years I've lost that footage. I may be able to see if I archived it somewhere. It might take me a while, but if I get a day where I'm not doing nothing, if I can find that footage, I will try to post it on this gun. Now this is the one I got from IMA, and it came out of Nepal, has markings, and we'll look at that. And then I went on an auction online and bought this one. This is a Mark IV, I believe. I'm not an expert on these. Yes, this is a Mark IV, or the long lever. I paid a little bit more money for this gun in the auction, but the condition of this weapon is extremely nice. It does have some Nepalese markings in the stock, I believe, but when we take a close look at them, it does not have any markings on the metal, unlike this gun here, and I don't know the significance between them. I don't know if the British gave these older guns to the government and they marked them with some stuff there, or difference. I have no idea. I'm not going to cover the history or the different versions. I'm just going to go over these two guns. We'll take a look at them close up, and the condition. And like I said, these were cleaned and put up for many years. And then with the recent donation, you know, I had dyes and everything. I had to buy a bullet mold, take a crash course in making the ammo. But I did get some ammo made up. And I did go out, and there will be another video where I take these guns out and shoot them and then show you the results of the ammo testing. But in this video, let's eyeball the guns a little closer. Alright, the first one I bought was a Mark II. I got it from Atlantic Cutlery. And this is one of the untouched ones. And, you know, when IMA was selling these, they had a couple truckloads of these weapons. Okay, and they were put in that weird castle and left there kind of to just rot, dry rot or whatever. And over the years, they came in various conditions. You could buy them where the stocks were real. You know, they had different grades in that. But I forget, this one was untouched. I got it from Atlantic Cutlery, and I was actually quite impressed with this gun when I received it, because there were a few defects, but it was relatively complete. You know, the action was complete, the sight was complete, though a little bent, but I don't really believe that you makes a difference. All the parts were there, the cleaning rod, sling swivels, and all that other fun stuff. But the only thing was this area here, this pin and that connects this whole forestock was rotted out. And I tried repairing it, and I made a pin and tried to clean it up if I ever find them videos. So that was an issue there. And I thought I had it repaired. And also, if you look at the buttstock, there's some dry rot on this. But the markings were fairly clear. And one strange thing about all of these guns is generally the bores are pretty good. I mean, the bores are nice. There's no pitting, no weird stuff in them. They clean up nice. They had good bores on them. Okay, and this one here, like I said, was fairly complete. We'll kind of rotate it a bit. As you can see, I had the cleaning rod. The finish ain't exactly perfect on it. And another thing, this rear band, the screw's broken off inside here. And you cannot find, the one thing was missing a lot of the barrel bands and stuff and that. I just went and looked for parts, you can't find it, so I'll have to try to get that screw out and make something that'll fit in there maybe eventually. And like I said, this one here has all the British markings, but interestingly enough, on the trigger guard and on the handle, there's stuff written in Nepalese writing on there. Like I said, not that terrible a shape. And the internal parts were all there. This one was pretty gummy. I'm going to try to find them videos. But they would tell you that some of the actions would be frozen or stuck or something when you bought the lower grade ones. And I'm not quite sure. This one, there was a lot of gunk in it. I think this one action was quite stiff, but once I kind of hosed it down, took it apart, and got all the grime out of it, it was, fairly good. And unlike Royal Tiger, these people were pretty honest, and their prices, you could buy these and really beat up grade for like, I think a couple $100 or something at one time. They used to have these sales. But the only thing is, you could get a dud because Guns and Ammo, the guy used to go and buy these things, and he bought 2 of these and was going to try to see if he had enough parts and pieces to put one together. And the ones he got, he bought them on one of these flash sales or something. And they were described. They tell you that there'd be major pieces missing. You had like 10 different variations of getting these. And they were pretty honest about the description. But the ones he had, one of the receivers was welded or something, and there were some issues, so he never did do anything. Now, like I said, on mine, had this thing with the stock. I made another pin because that pin was all rusted and was all corroded, and this dry rot, that crack wasn't there until I fired it. So I made another pin, cleaned out the hole, and I put some wood putty in there, which was not the correct way of doing it. And after 10 rounds, the stock split bad here. And another thing I didn't realize is even though there's a little metal pin here, the screws broke off and this barrel band isn't tight, so this thing would fly up on there. And you really can't get replacements or screws or nothing for these. I've looked, and they're non-existent. You can get some major parts still, but not so much so. So there's going to be a little fabrication. And actually the bore on this is good, and this gun does fire. I've just fired it recently and realized that there's issues. The only problem is I can get a very nice repro stock from IMA, but it's like $225 to add on to this gun. And you will have to drill out for the pins and the stop and the pin that holds that little tab there. So it's not quite 100% dropping, but very close. It's fully inletted, you know, some major modifications, but I don't know if I want to put another $200 into this weapon. Okay, this is the key to it. I just kept this all these years and dragged it out, and finally got around to shooting it. But I don't know. But all in all, for what I paid for it, okay, it wasn't a bad deal, and it was kind of some of the last ones. I don't know if they still have them. IMA has some of these that are restored, and they get like about $1,000 a piece for the ones in nice shape now. And they do have some untouched, but they're looking at about the $800 mark now. So, you know, back in the heyday, when this was just like the Mosin Nagant craze, we had the Martini Enfield craze. And everybody was in it, and you had the Gahendras, and there were some other odd variations, and everybody was buying the dies and loading them and shooting them, and tons of videos on YouTube. So it's kind of a legacy. Let's look at the Mark IV. Now the Mark IV is a different rifle. I believe that first gun was made in 1875, and this one was made in 1885. I'm sorry, I take that back. 1885, and this one was 1887, I believe. Look over, yep, 87. And this is a different style weapon. You know, it's easily noticeable by the long lever, but the shape of the receiver is different. The sight is about the same on there. And this particular rifle I bought at a auction. I forget, one of the large auction houses had this, and I got it for relatively a fair price because it was visibly in better condition. I thought that it was a sole British rifle, but when I got it back on the stock, there's some Nepalese stuff, and probably one of you experts can tell me what that all means. And the only strange thing is, that is the only place where there's any foreign writing. You know, down here on all of this, it's all still British. You know, the lever, trigger guard, and as you see, they have, the Mark IV has a different type of system to mount the stock. And we go up here, and this has the correct bolt in it. I may be able to pull that out and fabricate one. Yes. And a little bit different cleaning rod, and the condition overall on this gun is a lot better. And the bore on this also is quite excellent. Also. So when I decided to do my testing, and that'll be in the next video, I'll show you a little bit of that and the results. I only got like 10 rounds out of that other rifle, and then the stock started to disintegrate on me. So I took this one and fired the rest of the cartridges with it. And again, like I said, the bore on this is nice. The front sight is a little bit different on this gun. And both of them shot, I'd say, 6 or 7 inches high, 50 yards, with the bullet and the load I was using. But they were smooth operating. They worked very well. And surprisingly, you know, these guns are fairly accurate. Okay, because, like I said, the bores are actually very nice on both examples. The only problem I had with the first one, the Mark II, is the stock started coming apart on me while I shot the gun. But that's the way it goes. And like I said, I paid a little more for this example, and it is in, I'd say, excellent condition for what it is and its age. It's pretty good. And, you know, I don't know how many of these were around. You'd have to talk to people that collect them before they brought that huge influx of these rifles into the country from Nepal. I am not an expert on this. There's several channels and people out there that really get into detail on these guns. If you're interested in the history of it, I suggest you go there. But this is just a look at the two examples that I have, so you can get an idea. And then, you know, I will go on to my next video where I go out to the range and fire the gun.